Just because you're a professional trader doesn't mean that you've mastered perfect execution every time that you sit in front of the screens. In fact, there's quite a high likelihood that you've hit a performance slump or ceiling at some point in your career and maybe even many times over. How do I know this? Because as a high performance psychologist and trading psychology coach, I work with professional traders every day who face these exact same challenges. And it's one thing as a hobbyist or part time trader to get stuck in prolonged periods of mediocre performance or to hit a ceiling that you just can't break through. But for someone whose entire career is trading, you simply cannot afford to stay in these states. That's why in this video, I'm going to share a simple framework that I've developed over 18 years of high performance coaching that will help you to break through any performance slump, ceiling, or any trading psychology challenge that's impacting your execution and your profitability. And if your BS meter just went off, good. This framework is simple to understand, yes, but of course there is a bit of work involved in actually applying it to your trading to create sustainable transformation. Here's what we'll cover in this video. Why performance ceilings and slumps are notoriously hard to break through, the 4 arenas of high performance framework, and why you should think of trading like going to battle in 4 different arenas simultaneously, and then how to leverage this framework so that you can actually apply it in your trading to put an end to any performance ceiling, slump, or any trading psychology challenge. Let's talk about slumps and ceilings, because even though they look different on the surface, when you're in the middle of them, they feel very similar. A slump is when your performance and results dip below your usual standard. And you might find yourself making more mistakes, hesitating to execute on trades that normally you would do so with confidence on, or even forcing setups that aren't there. It feels like you've lost your edge. And with that, you might also feel self-judgment, self-doubt, and maybe even shame. Because deep down, you know that you're capable of better, but you just can't seem to get back to your best. A ceiling, on the other hand, isn't about going backwards. It's when you hit the same level of consistency or profitability again and again and again, but you can't seem to break through to the next level. It's almost like you're hitting into an invisible wall that just won't let you progress. The common thread between slumps and ceilings is the feeling of stagnation. So whether you're going backwards or you're just spinning your wheels, the emotional impact is similar. You might feel frustrated, you lose confidence, you could even feel fear. Fear that you can't recover back to where you were, or fear that this is just as good as it gets. And as a professional trader, that weight is even heavier because we're not talking about ego or pocket change. We're talking about your career, your income, and even your identity. So why is it that performance slumps and ceilings are so notoriously hard to break? The main reason is that they're not usually caused by a lack of technical knowledge. As a professional trader, you know your setups, you know your risk management, you know how to execute. That's not the problem. What makes performance slumps and ceilings so tricky is that they're driven by underlying psychological patterns. Things like fear of loss, fear of success, self-doubt, self-judgment, perfectionism, identity conflict, and even old subconscious beliefs and patterns around money, scarcity, and self-worth that get triggered under pressure. And here's the kicker. The harder that you try to think or logic your way out of the rut, the deeper it becomes, because you're trying to fight the surface level behaviors of the issue instead of addressing it at the root. So the harder you push, the more stuck you become. That's why slumps and ceilings feel so frustrating, because they're not about knowing what to do. They're about what you can actually get yourself to do consistently under real trading pressure. So if surface level fixes can't break the cycle, then what can? This is where the 4 arenas of high performance framework comes in. It's the model that I've developed over 18 years of high performance coaching, and it does apply across the board in any high pressure, high performance domain: professional sport, business, performing arts, aviation, and of course in trading. And in this video, I'm only going to talk about it in the trading context. Instead of guessing or grinding harder with tools that don't go deep enough, this framework will help you identify exactly what's causing the performance slump or ceiling, what are the factors that are sustaining it, and how you can actually resolve it so that you can get back to consistent execution and break through to your next level. In the 4 arenas of high performance framework, we think of trading as going to battle in 4 different arenas simultaneously. And winning the overall war, this bullseye target in the middle, That looks like executing your trading plan exactly as you intended to on every single trade. Because really, that is the only success criteria that is 100% within your control. But to win the war, to break through the performance slump or ceiling, you need to be successful in each of these four battles: the battle in the physical arena, the battle in the mental arena, the battle in the emotional subconscious arena, and the battle in the spiritual energetic arena. And when I say doing battle, what I mean is consciously taking charge of everything that's happening in these arenas so that you can optimize for peak trading performance. Because if you're not doing this, you're still going to be impacted by what's happening in each of these arenas anyway. Imagine a trader who only pays attention to the actions that they're taking in the market. So their risk management, their exits, their entries, etc. Just because they're not paying attention to their emotions or their subconscious doesn't mean that they're not being impacted by it. Every time that they FOMO into a low quality setup or they cut a winning trade too short, that's evidence of them being impacted. The arenas are constructed as concentric circles because your success in each inner arena depends on your success in the arena that encompasses it. Let's make that concrete. The physical arena is where you're taking physical, 3D, real world actions to make money in the market. We're talking about your behaviors in the market. So you have a detailed trading plan, you have rules to follow, you know exactly when to enter, when to exit, what your risk management plan is, what position size you should be taking. So winning the physical battle can be summed up as having a rule-based proven trading plan and then taking the actions to follow that plan. It sounds very simple, but if you're a professional trader, you'll know that it's not. And if a trader doesn't prioritize psychology, they don't see the importance of it, they'll think that they're only doing battle in this physical arena. If a trader was trying to resolve a performance slump or ceiling by only doing battle in the physical arena, then they would likely be following advice like manage risk, trade your plan, and respect your stop losses. Advice which, although technically correct, is absolutely useless when it comes to driving behavior change. Because if it was as simple as telling yourself to just follow your plan, you would already be doing it and you wouldn't be in a performance slump or be hitting a ceiling. A more evolved trader who is only doing battle in this physical arena might also understand that there are physical, lifestyle actions and habits that can impact your trading performance, like your sleep, hydration, nutrition, etc. And so this trader might also be optimizing for peak performance by taking care of those lifestyle factors. The mental arena is where you're doing battle with your own conscious thoughts. This is where you might be battling self doubt, self judgment, maybe second guessing your strategy and hesitating at a crucial point in the trade. Or it could even be that you're adopting a biased perspective on the market and you're predicting a move that is going to happen, but that's actually not based on market data. You might also be doing battle with your own mind traps in this arena, comparing yourself to other people, putting yourself under pressure, telling yourself that you should be more profitable by now, focusing on the P&L instead of the process, or even exaggerating the significance of losses. If someone was actively trying to win the battle in the mental arena, they might be doing things like using process and performance goals instead of focusing on the outcome of the trade, the P&L. They might also be hiding their P&L. They could be using mental skills techniques like visualization to enhance their confidence and reinforce sticking to their trading rules. And honestly, this is the level where most traders and the majority of trading mindset gurus stop. They don't address the deeper root causes behind the performance slump or ceiling. And so the trader feels like they're investing a lot of effort to break through the stagnation. But in reality, it's like trimming the tops off weeds and expecting to create a beautiful lawn. It's only marginally effective, and the weeds are going to grow back stronger and with a vengeance. The emotional subconscious arena is where it starts to get really interesting. And this is where the bulk of work really needs to happen to overcome impulsivity, indiscipline, and stagnation. Here, the battle is much less obvious because it's beneath the level of your conscious awareness. Your conscious mind only rules 5% of your actions or behaviors, and your subconscious mind rules 95% of your actions or behaviors. So if you're not actively doing battle in this arena and trying to optimize the contents of your subconscious mind to support your trading goals, then you're actually taking on risk before you ever enter a trade because you're leaving 95% of your actions up to an entity that's outside the level of your conscious control. The battle here is a battle with your highly charged emotions and your subconscious programming that causes you to self-sabotage in the market. Every time that you've ever FOMO'd into a low quality setup, tried to trade yourself out of the red, jumped out of a winning trade too soon, or held onto a losing trade too long, you can be sure that both your highly charged emotions and your subconscious were at play. You'll know you've won this battle when you can execute your trading plan regardless of whatever emotions you're feeling, and when the contents of your subconscious mind, so your deeply held beliefs about yourself and the world, all support the consistent execution of your trading plan. A trader who's trying to win the battle in the emotional subconscious arena might be using tools like live guided visualization or journaling to pinpoint the exact emotions and subconscious beliefs that are causing them to break their trading rules. Or they might be using affirmation scripts to try and rewire their programming and beliefs around wealth and success. The spiritual energetic arena can be interpreted on different levels. If you're someone who's spiritual or who follows a particular religion or faith, this is the arena where those beliefs will come into play. And if you're not spiritual and you're not religious, then you can interpret this arena as being related to your personal values and your deeper life purpose. The spiritual energetic arena is where you're doing battle to raise your own energetic frequency, so the internal state that you operate from on a daily basis and that you project into the world, and also to draw on your faith or your spiritual beliefs to help you achieve your trading goals. When you've won this battle, your energetic frequency will be tightly aligned with the execution of your trading plan, and you'll be integrating your spiritual or religious beliefs and practices into your trading to support the execution of your plan. A trader who's doing battle in this arena might be, for example, reflecting on their trading why to help them boost confidence, focus, and motivation during a particularly challenging run of losses. Or they might be using emotional freedom technique, EFT or tapping, to clear a performance block around always going over their daily loss limit. Or they might be using journaling or automatic writing to understand the deeper significance behind what a performance ceiling is there to teach them. By conceptualizing trading performance using this framework, then we can see how every trading psychology challenge is a product of what's happening for you in each of these arenas simultaneously. Then it becomes painfully clear that if you want to break through a performance slump or ceiling, it's not enough to just tell yourself to stick to your plan or even to mentally rehearse executing your trading plan to a T. You need to ask yourself what's happening for you in each of these arenas that's contributing to and sustaining the performance slump or ceiling or any other trading psychology challenge. In other words, ask yourself, where am I currently losing the battle in each of these arenas? And that might look like asking yourself, what actions am I taking in the market that are costing me money? What thoughts are in my mind or biases do I hold that are contributing to me taking these actions? What are the highly charged emotions that are driving me to break my rules or be impulsive in the market? And what are the subconscious beliefs and programming that is driving these highly charged emotions that's causing the indiscipline? You might also need to ask yourself, am I embodying the frequency of a trader who always executes their trading plan to a T? And if not, where am I a misfit for this? Where am I not aligned? Or you might ask yourself, am I grounding myself with my prayer, spiritual practice before I enter the market? Or am I just rolling out of bed and jumping in front of the screen? So you can see by working through this process, you can actually start decoding what's behind the performance slump or ceiling, which makes it a lot easier to then implement the fix. Armed with this awareness, you can then identify the concrete actions that you need to take in each arena to win the battle, which will ultimately help you to win the war. And sometimes it might take implementing a number of different fixes or concrete actions in each arena to do that. Let's use a concrete example. To overcome a performance slump that you've identified as being driven by burnout, you might first reflect on your trading why to reinvigorate your sense of purpose and motivation. Then you might look at what subconscious programming and beliefs led you to the point of burnout in the first place and use an affirmation script to rewire those beliefs. You might then set some daily process goals that give you a sense of confidence and a feeling of success as you implement them, and an instant uplift in performance or execution. And then you might also look to make sure that you get 7 hours sleep every night before you trade. All of these fixes combined will ultimately lead you to be able to execute your trading plan better and ultimately lift you out of the performance slump. It's the combination of addressing this issue on all of these different levels that produces the transformation in your performance. Despite what many social media mindset gurus might want you to believe, Your trading psychology is not a crude, blunt instrument that can be fixed with simple mindset hacks. It's a process of constantly calibrating and optimizing for peak performance, recognizing where those imbalances lie, and then taking action to address them. Just like the difference between a learner driver and a Formula One driver, the more skilled you become at something, the more aware you are of all of the different factors that can be optimized to produce peak performance. The learner driver is probably only focused on the brakes, the gear, the clutch, and not cutting out in the middle of traffic. The Formula One driver is strategically optimizing for tire wear, fuel efficiency, weather conditions, track position, and making split second adjustments at 200 miles an hour to optimize for peak performance and get that winning edge. The Four Arenas framework gives you the high level paradigm to decode and resolve any performance slump, ceiling, or any other performance psychology challenge. But if you want to skip straight to the practical blueprint, the step by step process to break indiscipline, overcome stagnation, and eliminate emotional trading, while being given the tools and techniques to win the battle in every arena, then I invite you to join me in my signature trading psychology program, Go Deep to Level Up Your Trading. This is for experienced, professional, and full time traders who know exactly what they should be doing in the market to be consistently profitable, but who are sabotaging trades, missing opportunities, and handing back money to the market. And you're sick of doing this and ready to put a permanent end to this right now. I'll leave a link in the description box below and in the pinned comment with some more information about that program. That's it for this video. Trade well, and I'll see you in the next one.